Hey, Audacious Beast, welcome back to my channel. My name is Scottyallenday. What traveling show did I work for when I went to the Bahamas? What was unique about that time of the year? What did I do for the first time that I will remember for the rest of my life? Well, that's my video for today. I figured I'd take you on an adventure with me that I did in the late 80s when I finished up my first set of concert tours. After that, went home for a little bit, and then after that, I went back on the road again. So basically, I worked for a carnival going overseas, well, to the Bahamas. All you basically needed was your ID and a social security card, and you could jump on a plane and you go to the Bahamas. At that time, now you need a passport because it's a U.S. governed island. So basically, I worked for a carnival going over to the Bahamas, and around between about the middle of December-ish till the end of November is the Bahamas Goombay Festival. This is like their Christmas celebration, and it's the only time of the year that Bahamians are allowed to gamble. If you went to the Bahamas on a work visa, you are not allowed to gamble. You will be arrested and then deported. I guess that's probably, I don't know what the reason is for that. But the Bahamas, it's the Goombay Festival. They have the Goombay Punch, and it's just a really good time. So basically what I did was I flew out, and we stayed in a motel for about half of for pretty much the whole time. I went to Freeport first, and then we went to Nassau in the Bahamas, and then we flew back home. So we flew out there. I ended up taking a cargo ship over to Nassau. I'll tell you about that experience. And then we flew back to Miami. So basically, when we went and stayed in the hotel, I mean, coconuts were falling everywhere. That was the first time I ever opened up a real coconut. I mean, it fell right in my hands. I was sitting there looking, and I had my hand up, and I was looking, and all of a sudden, a coconut drops right in my hand. I said, wow. So we got checked into our room, and then I went back out, and I found a sharp rock and started chucking it, and finally got it down to the seed, and busted it open, and drank real coconut milk, and had real coconut right off the tree. It was amazing. But that was what I did for the first time that I will remember. So I went and opened up another coconut, and then all of a sudden, a lizard pops out. I guess there was a hole in it, and then lizard pops out. But that's not it either. Then I was walking around, a little bit before we had to set up the show, because we were waiting for all the equipment to come in so we could set up the carnival. I ran the big swing set ride, and then I also ran Gravitron, the spaceship ride. So pretty much I was walking around, and there was a policewoman in the middle of the street, with her hand like this, and then straight out and then back, and it was just awesome. She looked like that she could have been a soldier at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. This is how straight her uniform was. This is exact. I mean, she did everything perfect. And to this day, I remember seeing what I can visualize this policewoman and the way that she did her traffic routines. But that's not what I did for the first time. So basically, the next day we had basically the whole day free. The equipment was coming in the following day, so we were basically able to go and do whatever we wanted to do. A lot of the carnies went and got plastered and then came back to the room and passed out. I just wanted to do something a little bit different. So I think it was about 3 blocks away, there was a huge golf course. And I went up and I asked the guy, I said, how much for a round of golf? I've never played golf before. And the guy said, well, we have, I mean, you can play a round of golf for $13 and a cart you get for an extra 10. I said, oh, cool. Give me a set of clubs and a cart. So the first round I tinkered around. I think it took me like 10 to be able to hit. Get it into a par 3 and then another 12 hits to get it into a par 4. And I said, you know what, let me take my time on this. I said, I mean, this is not miniature golf. I mean, there was a huge water hazard in front. And then I lined it up and I took a deep breath and I loosened my grip and I went and I hit that ball. And that ball went straight. The lake was in a valley. And I hit that ball straight, and it was like a line drive. It was like a baseball player hitting a ball on a straight line drive to the other end. And it made it to the green. And I was like, whoa. One hit, and then two, and I sunk it. And that was a par 4. I said, wow. And then I kept playing, and I wasn't doing that good. And then there was a really, really long one. Now, keep in mind, this is the first time I ever played golf. And I didn't even know how to hold the club. And I got my card up, and I met up with 2 other guys who were playing. And I waited for them, and said, oh, you want to join us and finish it up? And I think it was like the 9th hole. And the 9th hole was another par 4, and it was out, and there was a curve. And they said, yeah. So they hit theirs, and they got theirs going. And all of a sudden, just something inside of me said, watch. And then I brought it back, and I did a couple, I lined myself up. And I hit that ball with everything I got. And that ball went straight up. Well, it went up at an angle. And it got above the tree lines, and then the wind carried it. It was just like a bowling ball that you're trying to get for a perfect hook. And it went up, and the wind carried it, and then it landed right on the green and right into the hole. My very first hole-in-one. I sat on the ground with my jaw to the ground. And these guys said, we played these greens for a long time. We've never seen anybody hit a hole-in-one on this. And I said, I've never played golf before. And they all laughed. And, well, we finished up the game and went up to the 18th hole. And, I got it in about 3, and those guys, 18th hole-in-one. They had hole-in-ones and 2s and 3s on their card. And I said, wow, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. He said, you know what? Let's go and celebrate. And we'll buy you a drink on us. And we sat in the bar, and they were there with their other buddies, and I told them all about my single hole-in-one. And everybody was laughing. It was just a ball. It was amazing. It was an amazing feeling to hit a hole-in-one for the very first time when you've never played golf before. So that was my memory that I'll keep for the rest of my life. So we got into the Goon Bay Festival, and we started setting up our carnival and got everything done. And a few rides got broken because of the cargo ship coming across, and we had to fix those. And we had a haunted house that caught on fire after we hooked it all up because something rusted on the inside, so we had to put that out. That was no more haunted house. And then basically they came in and they gambled, and we ran the crud out of the rides. I mean, they were there every single night. And then the last night we were waiting for the cargo ship to come and pick up all the stuff. We had everything broke down. The cargo ship had the first set to been out, and then we waited for the second cargo ship to come in so we can get the second stuff out. And I had to stay there and guard. There's a little wooden shack that I had to sit there and wait all night in. And some kids came by and thought it was fun to throw rocks at the shack. It scared the living daylights out of me. I swore I had to change my underpants the next morning. I was so scared. And I made it through the night. Made me a little bit more confident of nighttime. And so made it through, and then they said, "Well, you're not gonna fly. You're gonna go on the cargo ship." Okay, well, I've skied before. I've been on boats before. Okay, no problem. And then we went on the boat, sat there, and we waited, and it was going to be an all-night trip. All-night trip. They said, "Well, you know what? You can drink all the pop you want." And I said, "Okay." I went and I drank Goombay punch, and man, I thought I was going to make myself sick drinking so much soda pop in one night. And the guy said, "Oh, you look a little green." I said, "No, I just drank too much soda." He said, "Well, soda's not really good for you on this boat. Let me make you up some bacon and eggs." So we had bacon, eggs, and hash browns. I swear I've never had stuff this good. And this cook that was on this ship made a wonderful breakfast. The eggs were perfectly seasoned. The hash browns were crispy and buttery, and the bacon was like the nice thick sliced pepper bacon. And then we made it all the way across. I mean, I saw the waves going over the top of the boat, and it rained while we were going, and made me kind of feel like I was on a scene from Gilligan's Island. It was amazing. There was another trip I will never ever forget. Because there was just that experience, and then we had the strong winds that was down there, and I had to open up the door so I'd be able to grab myself another pop, and the door was so hard, and I struggled, and I finally reached in and grabbed one, and then door slammed shut. The door slammed so hard it snapped another can that was getting ready to fall out right in half, and half the can just disappeared. So I locked that up and back inside and waited until you went back. And then we ended up in Nassau. Now Nassau, we were already there when the gear was there, and everything got off the ship. We had to set up the tilt-a-whirl first. That was a ground mount tilt-a-whirl. One of the toughest rides that anybody could be able to set up. Because everything was so heavy, and you know, if you did something wrong while you were setting up a tilt, you could actually kill someone. Someone could actually get seriously injured if you did not pay attention and listen to your road bosses while putting that tilt up. If you were under the influence or had any kind of intoxicants in your system, nobody would let you set up a tilt. Of the 3 different carnivals that I've worked for L.D. Wheeler International Shows, Jim Strait Shows, and Murphy Brothers Expedition. Nobody would let you touch a tilt-a-whirl or a bumper car if you were in any way, shape, or form intoxicated. Everything else is fine because you had mass crews on some of them, and all they'd probably have you do is just lay out stakes or try and put a mallet onto a stake just to be able to, you know, that sort of thing. And the other thing that I remembered is there was this big cage rocking. We called it the rock and roll, and it was so wet in that area when we put that up that the ride actually became electrified. And when we went to go and pick up and try and put one of the baskets onto the ride, electricity would literally flow through your body. And it zapped me so much I flew back, and the boss said, what the heck did you do? What are you doing? Why did you hold on to that ride? I said, I just got electrocuted. And he took his hand and went, wham! Never forgot that. First and only time I ever been hit by a boss. But what can I do? I'm overseas. I'm on an island. If I quit there, I had no way home. I just go, yes, sir. No, sir. Get through it. So while we were doing the whole thing, and another guy came in, and he had all kinds of video games. We had to stay on. We had to stay on site so we'd be able to watch everything. And the guy had a full-blown arcade, full-blown 80s arcade, in 3 massive tents. So you have to figure about the size of. Oh, let me try and think here. It was about an 80 by 40 tent filled with arcade games and pinball machines. And when the show stopped, all we had to do is plug in and we could play to our heart's content, free of charge. And we did. I played the heck out of it. I played and beat games I've never beat before. I was in my heyday. I wish I could still do that right now. So, I played arcade games until I got tired of them, which I never did. We had one incident one night, which we had a drunk female, because there was a bar not too far away, and she came in to the fairgrounds, and then she walked over to the tent that had all the glass stuff in, and yelling and screaming for something. And there was one of the guys that was sleeping in it, and she stumbled and went and fell over the railing, landed on top of the guy, and knocked half the display over. There was glass everywhere. Finally, they got the Bahamian police out there. Guy got up. We spent half the night cleaning up glass, and I guess they had more glassware and stuff to be able to put up, and somebody ended up paying for it. So we had a feeling we knew who paid for it, and we knew what type of a woman this was. So, but throughout our entire stay over there at NASA, it was amazing. It was fun. I went to enjoy a real Bahama Mama drink, a Goombay Punch drink, which is a real Goombay Punch drink. And I tasted some of the best rum I would ever taste in my life. And, you know, I kind of missed that 2-month period that I was in the Bahamas. I miss it. One of these days, when I'm older, when I'm done working, or once I can be able to start doing travel vlogs, I'm going to take my wife down during the Goombay Festival, and we're going to go and actually be a tourist and enjoy the festivities. They've had big parades that I didn't get a chance to see. They had celebrations, which they had Bahamian dancing and more costumes. And the best thing I enjoyed about that was all the shirts that I had. I literally changed all of my greasy, torn-up shirts for everything that I got from the Bahamas. I had shirts that would last me for the next year while I was out traveling. So I kind of wanted to share my trip to the Bahamas with you. It was just an amazing experience. The weather was beautiful the whole time I was there, except for that boat ride over. And, you know, I hope you enjoyed the story. That's pretty much the entire story of the Bahamas. If you have any questions, please drop a comment in the comment section below. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. Until next time, keep on rocking.